Cybersecurity firm Proofpoint recently unveiled its latest batch of agentic AI solutions at its Proofpoint Protect 2025 event in Nashville, Tennessee. Our very own Kristen Scholler was on the ground, where she spoke with the firm's Chief Customer Officer, Rohit Dixit, about some of the biggest challenges Proofpoint and the industry at large are trying to solve. Take a listen.
Yeah, Kristen, I tell you, it's a tough time to be a CISO. Not that there is an easy time to be a CISO, but especially so now. Because, if you think about just the amount of threats that a CISO has to handle, they're about like quadruple over just the last year. Not just the volume, but also the complexity and the sophistication of attacks has gone up significantly. And the CISO now has to cover a much broader scope, because earlier 80% of your work was protecting email coming in that could be phishing. But now you think about Teams, you think about Zoom, you think about WhatsApp, QR codes, all of these are vectors for threats coming in, and the CISO and the analyst team has to cover all of them. So that's like a huge concern for them, just that increased surface area of attack. The second big area, of course, is, as you said right at the beginning, AI. Right? And look, there's an AI arms race on. And the bad guys are trying to use AI as a way to exfil and for a way to infiltrate, and we are trying to, of course, use AI as a way to block. And when I talk to CISOs, that's like a primary area of concern for them. And how can they have a security posture across all the various channels that protects them from all the threats, and not just increase the efficacy of that protection, but the availability of it, the explainability, the attribution, the investigation. So look, I think the CISOs have a lot on their plates right now, and we're glad to be able to help in any way we can.
I want to talk more about that. How is Proofpoint helping meet these challenges?
Yeah, so first thing is that our mindset is very much to put ourselves in the place of a CISO and an analyst, right? And then what we want to do with them is to make sure that the security posture that I talked about, one, is as efficacious as possible. And at Proofpoint, we're at like 5 nines of efficacy, which is, I think, better than anybody else can ever claim to be. Second is our deliverability is very good, so we don't slow any emails down as we're protecting you. But at the same time, our scope of the area that we cover has expanded significantly. So not only do we have what we call collaboration protection, we also have the information protection or the data protection side of the house. And what we're trying to do is to get these two things to work better together, so that we're looking at threats from multiple angles, sharing data across the two. And then when you buy Proofpoint, we make sure that we offer things to you in a bundle of things that are better together and add to your protection posture. And then finally, we extend that same logic to not just amongst Proofpoint, but also into Microsoft, also into CrowdStrike, so that a CISO or a SOC analyst or any security analyst can actually go to fewer places to get a better sense of what the threats are, where they are in terms of the risk, remediation, the investigation, and all the things I talked about before. And by the way, we're trying to make those bundles not just work better together, but also to be financially more attractive to buy together, because we think that better serves the customer.
I'm curious, in the feedback that you get from customers across industries, what do they find about Proofpoint's value proposition resonating most?
The first thing, of course, as I mentioned before, the efficacy. They need that efficacy because having a security solution that protects you 70% of the time is just not good enough, right? So that's one. The efficacy is best in class. The second thing that we do is, like I said, looking at things from a broader attack surface area and thinking of defense in breadth, right? Because security people tend to think of defense in depth, but we also think defense in breadth. And our products do work better together. They are better integrated. They're easier to operate when they're together. And then we have a great team that is constantly on the lookout for new threats, always looking for new sort of policy packs to release. And then we have a whole team of services people that are standing by, CSMs, TAMs, etc., that are waiting to jump in as and when help is required.
As As Chief Customer Officer, how do you approach building long-term, lasting partnerships with customers?
Yeah, that's a great question, Kristen. So, obviously, once somebody has bought our product, we think of that really as the start of a relationship, right? And in the customer office, that's where we come in. And the way we look at it is, we look at it making sure that a customer starts right. That basically means that they're obviously being onboarded well, they're getting deployed well, and we also at that point make sure we involve enough of the team that we get a sense of what a customer values, like what do they define as value delivered. And also capturing enough of the context of the customer, because not every customer is the same, and capturing that context not just for the initial deployment, but also to make sure that in every interaction here on, that context is present and available for everybody talking to the customer. So we start right. Then, as the customer is using the product, we want to make sure that they stay right, which basically means as they use our products, our support team, our customer success managers, our technical account managers, our managed services people are making sure that the customer is getting maximum value from the product, they're getting maximum protection, they are configured to the best of the product's ability, and that they're following all best in class for their industry specs. So we keep sort of that updated. And then finally, we make sure that we can grow right. So if a customer has a set of products and we think that they can benefit from having other products because they're better together and affords them better protection, we make sure that we can grow right with the customer. So we start right, we stay right, and then we grow right.
Thanks, Proofpoint Chief Customer Officer Rohit Dixit and Kristen Scholler for that interview.